Good evening. Chip Hoover, 80 Veronica Avenue. First of all, whoever lost their rock when flying through my dining room window, they're welcome to reclaim it at 80 Veronica Avenue. This happened about 2 weeks ago. It was only $175 when you replaced my dining room window.
What?
It's a rock. Came through my dining room window. In any event, Ms. Everly, one quick note. I have disagreed with the mayor on votes at the library board, and I feel that I'm a very good member of the library board. I participate, and I pay attention, and I vote, and it's on the record, against the mayor sometimes. So just for the record.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is. Anyway, Ms. Ritchie, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the literature you're putting out. It's really helped us to move forward the campaign for the recallritchie.com. And I'm glad you realize this is not about Chip Hoover now, because now we have people standing in line to sign the petition. We have several of the boards getting ready to make resolutions to support this and recommend it to their members to sign the petition. I like the fact that you question my ethics. I've consulted with 3 attorneys who are professionals in the CAI business, and not only is it not unethical, it's my duty and obligation as a paid professional to inform my constituents of anything that would adversely affect their property values, and it's my duty to recommend issues to them or recommend remedies to them for those. So there's no problem here with ethics. And I'd be glad to present those attorneys. And in fact, in the national magazine, Community Grounds, which was recently published, they advocate associations and their managers taking stances against issues that the associations don't feel are in their benefit, or conversely, if they feel that something is in their benefit, to then support it. I actually have a comment from Mr. Kramer's, or an answer from one of Mr. Kramer's questions about nobody recalling the meeting. It's the same thing when you make a phone call to people in the township and say, I was recently reelected by my colleagues to be deputy mayor. You make it sound as if it were all your colleagues when in fact it was not. This is just typical of the misinformation that you like to put out. You said, oh, and you like your job. Thank you. We're glad you like your job. We like our neighborhoods. And the value that we have in our neighborhoods supersedes you liking your job. But I'm glad you like your job. Said, let the people speak. They are. They are by sending in their checks. They are by sitting in line to sign petitions. They are by passing resolutions to remove you from office. Your constituents are paying to have you removed, or paying to move the campaign forward, which really makes me proud. And each day it gets a little bit better. And, oh, did you register with ELECT yet? Okay. As of today, ELECT tells us there's no record of filing, so we'll check with that. And, oh, the cost of the election. The cost of the election is estimated to be $20,000, yet thus far the township has spent $36,000 on litigation against this project. And I ran out of things to say. So be it. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay. And I will respond. And I was prepared for most of this to respond. And I have to say that there have been a lot of comments that have been made about me again. You have called me, and I refer to both Mr. Hoover and Mr. Kramer, who are the committee people, who seem to be pushing most of this. In your website, Mr. Hoover, you've called me a corrupt politician who is dishonest, and you continue to imply that I've taken money and favors from developers. And I will repeat this as long as necessary. I am not dishonest. I have never taken money or favors from a developer. I have always acted in the best interest of this township, and I ask you now publicly to stop lying about that. You got up here tonight, you said, as of today, I have not filed with ELEC. Well, if you went to the ELEC website today, you would have seen that I have filed, and it is on file, and it has been for almost 2 weeks. You said that I unsuccessfully lobbied to remove 2 projects that competed with the so-called Ritchie Morris plan. Those 2 projects, nevertheless, mysteriously disappeared from consideration. I have here for you a copy of the November 22nd work session regular meeting of the Township Council. And I would offer to you now, on page 8, the minutes of that meeting where it says, "An extensive and lengthy question and discussion period ensued between Council and Ms. Burgallo. Council members presented their concerns regarding RCAs and certain inclusionary zoning projects. Both Ms. Burgallo and Mr. Rainone reviewed the COA certification process. After the discussion, it was the consensus of the Council to remove the Bathgate, Leonia, and Lakeside Road projects. Sorry if there are people who don't attend council meetings or those who don't care to read the minutes, but that's a fact and that's in the minutes. I did not mysteriously make them disappear." You say that I, quote, "ignore almost unanimous opposition from the public." I will tell you that although I may be a ward council person, I do represent the entire municipality of Franklin, just as we all do. I make my decisions on the facts before me and my knowledge of this community, the law, and sound planning principles. Just because I do not vote the way you want me to, or the way a handful of people with their own personal, not-in-my-backyard agenda wanted, does not mean I ignore the public. Everyone is given a fair and equal opportunity to provide their input. You have said that I lied about, quote, "strong-arming a member of the planning board," and then admitted to the lie, end quote. Once again, you continue to misconstrue the facts. I did not threaten anyone to vote a certain way. I worked very hard to find a compromise solution that would be the best solution for the township, and I spent a lot of time doing that. When someone blatantly lies to me after supporting my compromise proposal just hours earlier, of course I'm going to get angry, but I clearly did not threaten anyone to vote a certain way, and I never admitted to doing so. If you want to quote the newspapers, you can go right ahead because the newspaper is wrong. You say, quote, "there is a cheaper way out of Franklin's low-cost housing obligations. We could have made a one-time expenditure to pay other towns to absorb our housing problem," end quote. It would not be a one-time expenditure. We don't just spend money and send it to another town and walk away. That's extremely naive of you. We would have had to bond for that money and pay the interest for many years, and that would have come from all of the taxpayers of this township. The fact is that you and I plainly disagree fundamentally in regard to the issue of affordable housing. Your quote above from your website is very telling. You call affordable housing our problem. Well, I don't see this as a problem. I see this as an opportunity for us as a council and a township to meet our moral and social obligation to ensure that the working class in this town has safe and decent housing. I guess that's why you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat and proud of it. You said that I filed a frivolous criminal complaint against a council person who does not support the Richie Morris plan. First of all, what happens in my private life is none of your business or anyone else's. But since you brought it up on your website, I will tell you that if someone agrees before a judge in a court to stop certain behaviors towards me, I would not call that frivolous. You also have said that in my job I work closely with several large developers, including ones that develop or are trying to develop in Franklin. I have no idea what you're talking about, and further, your continued allegations about my job and my qualifications, including sending letters to my boss, the mayor of Old Bridge, asking for contributions to your campaign, are downright malicious and mean-spirited. And by the way, why in the world are you seeking contributions from a Middlesex Democrat when you so vocally oppose anything they have to do? That's a little disingenuous. I'm now at a point, quite frankly, where by becoming seriously concerned about your obsession with me and your continued attacks that are amounting to nothing more than a callous, despicable, and offensive vendetta. I ask you to stop printing and spreading lies about me, to leave my personal life and my job, which, by the way, is the sole support of income for my family and me, alone, and deal with this on an issue basis, but not these ad hominem attacks and lies, which is just continues to be outrageous, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Thank you.